Hey food friends, welcome back to my channel. I did a $20 Farm Boys grocery haul. I got some lasagna because it was the only pasta that was on sale. Everything else was really expensive. I got these turkey sausages, 20% off, Italian, spicy, and they're gonna be great in a dish. I also got this alfredo sauce mix. Usually I'd make my own, but since I'm doing a $20 challenge, I just bought it. This was a great deal, 7 drumsticks for $3.69, and these peppers were also a great deal, $2.50 for 4 large peppers. I got a head of broccoli, and I also got a can of crushed tomatoes. These potatoes were $3 for 5 pounds. This is going to go a long way. This is going to feed a lot of mouths. I was intrigued by these peppers. Such a great price, and they were all in great shape. Discount produce is the best. The only thing was this pepper had some soft spots, which is not a problem. I'm going to use that first and foremost. I like to dump my potatoes in a bowl so I can see it and keep an eye on it. Dishes I'm going to be making with this includes a broken lasagna broccoli alfredo, broken lasagna with spicy sausage and peppers and tomato sauce, a potato hash. I love using potatoes in many ways as I can, some fried chicken and potato wedges. We're also going to do some roasted potatoes and green peppers, and last but not least, a vegetarian chili. Let's start with the broken lasagna broccoli alfredo. I don't want to make a whole lasagna, so I'm just going to break this up into pieces that are bite-sized. The recipe calls for milk. I don't have milk. I do have some whipping cream. I'm going to add some water and just give this a stir. It calls for 1.5 cups of milk, and that's my milk there. It will do just as good. Cook your pasta in salted water. Bring your water to a boil. And while you do that, cut the broccoli. When the water is ready, add your pasta and cook it. Stir frequently as needed and cook it to just below al dente. I will be adding the broccoli into here, so the pasta will cook some more as well. So add your broccoli into the same water, cover this and cook it for about 3 minutes. And then your pasta and broccoli will be perfectly cooked. Drain it and put it into a bowl. I do like to add a bit of olive oil. I don't like anything sticking together, especially these flat sheets. Let's make our alfredo sauce. Follow the instructions on the package. Usually I would make my own, but I'm not. I do add a teaspoon of garlic powder to give it my own kick. And when this is the right texture, you can add your pasta and broccoli. Of course, you can add some water or some more milk to make it a bit creamier. Give this a good stir. Incorporate everything, and this is ready. Plate it. You get the sauce in the ridges, and the broccoli and alfredo go so well together. This is such a delicious combo and a classic combo. Kids love it, adults love it, and there's lots left over for at least 2 to 3 more servings. Let's make some broken lasagna with spicy Italian sausage and peppers. I'm going to be using this sausage. I removed the casing, and I'm using 3 sausages here because my daughter ate 1. And I have a piece of onion. This is optional because the sausages have great flavoring. I broke the pasta and I cooked it the same as I did in the previous recipe. And I cooked it to al dente, and while that was cooking, I did cut up my onions. So now this is ready. I'm just going to place it in a bowl, add some olive oil. Again, optional, but I just love doing this so it doesn't all stick together. In a hot skillet on medium heat, add some olive oil. And then we're going to add our sausage out of the casing. You want to break this apart so it becomes bite-sized. And then while this cooks for about a couple minutes, chop your onions and peppers, add your onions. I couldn't find my mashers, so I just found this wooden tool. And I decided to mash my meat with this. I want it to be nice and crumbled. You can use your spatula as well. Add your peppers. Add a heaping of garlic powder. That's about half a teaspoon. I don't like to waste anything, so the tomato juice in the can, I added some water to just bring it all together. Cover this and cook it for about 4 minutes. Peppers are almost done at this point, but they still need a bit more cooking. They're still a bit quite al dente, so I go ahead and add 1 cup of tomato sauce. And this is just the crushed tomatoes actually. And I add 1 teaspoon of chili flakes because I want this to be spicy. Go ahead and add salt to taste. I do add some Italian seasoning because I want extra flavor. A dash of water. Bring this all together. Now this is ready and it's time to add your pasta. Mix this well together. This looks so gorgeous, and peppers and sausage meat and pasta just goes so well together. Plate this up and let's have a bite. Look at those ridges. They hold that sauce so well. What a perfect way to serve broken lasagna, and we have lots of leftovers. I wasn't going to use all those peppers, so I cut up 1 large pepper and 1 large onion, and I put it in a Ziploc freezer bag and I froze it to make chili in the future. Now I'd like to show you a few simple potato dishes like the shredded breakfast potatoes. I grated these potatoes and I sprinkled salt and let it sit for about 5 minutes, and then I just squished all the liquids out of it. And that's the liquid you're going to throw out, and this is what you're left with. So what I want to do is fry this up. This is great as a breakfast, a side dish, a brunch dish, a lunch dish, or just a snack. I put bacon grease, about 2 tablespoons. I get these nicely distributed evenly into the pan. After about a few minutes, I just add garlic powder, some dried sage and black pepper, and some paprika. This is going to give these potatoes a great flavor. After about 3 minutes of cooking, I do add some chunks of onions, and this is for flavoring. I will eat these onions as is. Most people won't, but this is a great way to add onion flavor without a ton of onions if you don't have an onion lover. Cover this and cook it for about 3 minutes. Now it's nice and steamy, and this is done. The texture is going to be chewy and creamy on the inside and a crunchy on the outside. Let's serve this up. It's not pretty, but I promise you it's delicious. Our next recipe is fried chicken and roasted potatoes with chalet sauce. This is a great way to satisfy your takeout cravings at home without spending a ton of money. I did wash and peel my potatoes, and I cut them into bite-sized pieces, and I seasoned this chicken with herbs and spices. Use whatever you like. I use thyme, sage, garlic powder. I also like using garlic powder on my potatoes, and I like to use some black pepper and salt. And one of my tricks to making potatoes taste really good is bouillon powder, chicken bouillon. Try this next time. Add a glug of olive oil and just give this a nice toss. And because it is a potato, you can stick your finger in there and taste it. Once this is ready and seasoned, preheat your oven, lay these out on wax paper. Your oven's at 425. We're going to bake this for about 20 minutes, or maybe 25 minutes, but about 10 minutes on each side. I'm going to roll my seasoned chicken in some flour, just so it gets nice and prepped for frying. I have a deep skillet on medium heat, nothing higher than medium. Once your oil is bubbling, you can add your chicken in. The reason we cook this on medium heat is because we don't want the outside to cook fast and the inside to be raw. So get this in there. This is going to take about 20 minutes to cook. And that's because I'm going to make sure each sides are cooked about 4 to 5 minutes each. And I will be tossing and turning these every 4 minutes or so. If you have an air fryer and you prefer that, then use that. My potatoes are about halfway cooked, so I'm just going to flip them around and make sure we get them browned on the other side as well. And I'll stick those back in the oven and cook them for another 10 to 15 minutes. The little drumsticks are finished before the large ones, so I'll start placing them on a chilling rack. I have some paper towel underneath and a plate to absorb the oil. I will be making the Swiss chalet dipping sauce. It just requires water and the package, and it's ready in 3 minutes. But you can serve this with some gravy or just some ketchup, whatever you like. These wedges are done. This is such a great replacement for takeout, and there's something so comforting about chicken and potatoes. I do want to make a chili since I have so many peppers and tomato sauce, so I'm using a teaspoon of crushed chili flakes, a teaspoon of chili powder, and I have a tablespoon of ground cumin, a tablespoon of garlic powder, and a tablespoon of paprika. I'm also using about half a teaspoon of dried oregano and a bay leaf. As I was cutting these peppers, I realized it was way too many, so I'm using some of these to make roasted potatoes and green peppers. I peel these, wash these, and cut them into bite-sized pieces along with my peppers. Drizzle some olive oil and salt to taste. Also add some pepper and garlic powder if you'd like. Mix it really well. Put this on a baking sheet with some parchment paper so it doesn't stick to it. Lay it out in a nice even layer and bake it in a preheated oven for 10 minutes on each sides, and that's about 20 to 25 minutes. Give it a flip once in between, and then once it's all cooked, this is ready to serve when potato is fork tender. Peppers and potatoes go really well together as a side dish. It would be great with a piece of meat or fish. I just want to have some spuds and ketchup, such a great combo. And it's just such a good flavor, peppers and potatoes together. The last dish I'm going to make is a vegetarian chili white beans. I always have beans at home, so I just decided this is a cheap way to make a chili and a good way to use up some of my white beans. I do have lots of white beans. So I dice onions and peppers and I give it a good saute. Add your spices and give this a good mix. This is about half a white onion and 1 whole green bell pepper. You could use any beans you want, but I just have a lot of these, and these 2 cups of beans probably cost around 50 cents. I do add 2 bouillon cubes. If you want this vegan, use vegetable bouillon cubes, and I use chicken for some extra flavor. go ahead and add your 2 cups of tomato sauce in here. And then I'm also going to just use water to get the rest of that tomato sauce out of there. This is a 4-liter pot. I'm cooking this on just above medium. And once this is coming to a boil, cover it and cook it for a good 20 minutes. You'll want to stir it every now and then and check in on it. It takes about an hour to make, and when your beans are nice and creamy and your sauce is nice and thickened, these chili white beans are ready, and you can serve this over rice or eat it with toast or even have a chili dog. But this is a huge pot and it's going to feed many bellies. I don't have cilantro, so I'm just adding some chopped green onions. Try some of these recipes and go feed yourself. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.